All right, hey, everyone out there. My name is Deric Bumper. I'm the corporate trainer here in charge of social media as well as sales. American Car Center. I have the pleasure of interviewing today David Norton for our first of the monthly series, Coffee Talk. We're going to be discussing leadership, motivation, as well as just overall success tips. David, if you wouldn't mind, sir, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. David Norton. It is, good morning for some of us, good afternoon for others, depending on what side of the country you're on. Yes, sir. But thanks for having me today.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So what I want to start off with is a brief talk on last month and how we did and some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think September was a good month. I think we had some challenges, as we do every single month. But we finished on an incredibly high note. I was very pleased and proud of our staff the last several days. We really pushed it until the final bell rang, and just excited to end the third quarter. And as we get in the last 3 months of the year, approaching the holiday months, it was good to finish on the high note that we did. Of course, in the world of sales, in the world of the car business, we never want to be content in what we did do, but we're very thankful and proud of the results that we had.
Sure. So one of the things I know we discussed again during the regional summit a while back was, leadership and development. In your opinion, what are some of the things that make an effective leader?
Well, I think, one of the things that, to me, that's always important from a leadership standpoint is a leader's ability to serve. And we serve on a bunch of different levels. If you think, leaders are coaches to an extent. They're constantly involved with their people. They rely on goodwill and generate enthusiasm and passion of what they're, not just the product that they're selling, but who they work with, the company that they work for, and the sector that they may serve. So it doesn't matter if you're selling cars or anything. You could be selling widgets for all that matters, but you have to have that enthusiasm and the passion that is meaningful, not just to customers, but also to your staff.
Absolutely.
I think effective leaders always look at we, not I. We, us, our. What are our goals? How do we get there? How does this affect us? Collectively using those terms, I think is important because it is a team effort. And it's not a team because we work together. It's a team because everyone working in the same goal has the mutual respect and camaraderie for each other to get to that goal. I also think that leaders are very quick to give credit to the people that are in the trenches and doing the daily routines. But also, more importantly, when things go sideways, they have the humility to accept the blame. And I think there's strength in that unity. From a leadership perspective. And at the end of the day, once it's rolled out, once a goal is rolled out or an objective, the leader's at the front saying, let's go together. And so those are just some tidbits on my thoughts of leadership over the years. Obviously, it's an ongoing effort, but at the same time, I'm really big on the unity. I'm really big on the we, us, our, and on the enthusiasm about what we do and who we serve.
Absolutely. So the next topic we had on the list here is going to be, your suggested reading material. And I think this is something that's going to be strong going forward to, of course, in development and developing the next generation of leaders. What reading material? I have a couple of links in the description. The first was, I think it was Leadership Excellence, I think by Pat Williams, and the second being David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. So can you give me
I don't think that we can ever read enough. And, we talk about this with our staff and from a leadership perspective and management team is that we constantly need to be absorbing material and trying to increase our knowledge in a multitude of different facets, but particularly as it relates to how we deal with people.
Absolutely.
And I had the opportunity to meet Pat Williams in 2012 at a conference. And for those of you that don't know Pat Williams, he helped kind of get the Orlando Magic started in the late 80s in Orlando. 50-something years in the NBA as an executive. He just recently retired in April after over a 30-year career with the Orlando Magic as their executive vice president. In his book that he wrote, Leadership Excellence, it really focuses on the 7 practical insights that make up an outstanding leader: vision, communication, people skills, character, competence, boldness, and then more importantly, a serving heart. And this kind of approach to leadership goes back to some of the things that I was talking about specifically as it relates to certain characteristics of a leader. And Pat does a very good job of really kind of diving into each one of those specific practical insights that allow people to respond. His most recent book is called Extreme Winning. If you haven't checked it out, I have not read that one yet. It's on my list of what I want to read. But Pat brings a very unique perspective to leadership from professional sports. The other book, it was given to me by a friend of mine, a mentor of mine that I have known for over a decade, David and Goliath. And it basically is all about the underdog and overcoming obstacles and how we meet some of those failures head on and get around them. And it's just a really good book with different insights and different stories ranging from, all kinds of people throughout history. So those are 2 books that I suggest that people read, just because, number one, I don't think you don't have to have a leadership title or a manager title to be a leader. So you can be developing these skill sets regardless of your title at work or your responsibilities at work. And as it relates to sales, particularly in the car business, I think that there are several obstacles that we all have to overcome from a multitude of different angles. So both books are great reads, in my opinion, and I can't recommend them enough.
Perfect. So the next item on the agenda here is going to be discussing briefly, how do we retain our top producers? I know that that's a common theme, always trying to hold on to those guys who are moving the needle for us, right? So how do we go about it?
No, absolutely. Not to interrupt. I think, the great thing about being in sales is that it is a highly competitive environment. And whether you're an American Car Center employee or whether you're working for another company, top producers want to be recognized. They want to be heard. They want to be valued. I don't think we can value our people enough. Top producers also have a tendency to kind of have their own mindset and their own routine, if you will. So I think they have to have a little bit of leeway in regards to the structure that you want in your business. But at the same time, at American Car Center, we're real big on making sure that those people are recognized, that they're valued, that they understand that we care of what their thoughts are, and we want to listen to what they have to say. And I think that gives us a little bit of an edge as it relates to some other businesses that, people just may be a number. We have over 300 salespeople now. We have over 60 managers in different capacities. So as we continue to grow over the years, it's important that we hear from those individuals of what they think makes them successful and what they've seen be successful in their marketplaces for us to implement at a corporate level. So attention is really the big thing for me with our top producers, attention and being heard. I want to receive as much upward feedback, if you will, as we give downward feedback from the top down.
Absolutely. You touched on something there just for a second. I think it was, the top producers typically have a certain routine, or some people would call it a ritual of sorts. What is your what are some of your rituals that you notice or that you do yourself that keep you in that optimum space, that keep your mindset going on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think that all producers have some type of process. And I think it's important that the business has a process as well. And that process may be tweaked a little bit different depending upon the personality of the individual, et cetera. For me personally, my schedule is pretty chaotic at times. So, my routine starts between 5:15 and 5:30 every morning. I just try to get up and collect my thoughts, get the kids ready for school, and just get ready for the day. I probably get more done between 7:45 and 9 a.m. than I do the rest of the day, just because I don't have a lot of distractions. So I try to get to the office early and knock out any of my paperwork or thought-provoking routines that have to be done on a day-to-day basis. And by doing that early without any distractions, I know that when the business opens and when we open the doors at 9 a.m., that I'm completely focused and ready to go. I think that that's applicable to everyone at all levels. If your business opens at 9, you don't need to get there at 9. You need to get there well in time to kind of have a communication with your staff, be able to talk about what the goals are for the day, so that when the doors do open, you're ready to roll.
Absolutely. So, speaking of which, this month we're just starting. It's I think the third of the month today, October 3rd. So, what are your thoughts on this current month? How can we, push to exceed some of the successes we did and just improve overall going forward?
Well, like I touched on in the beginning, Deric, I think that the +1 mentality. We always want to try to be better than we were last month, better today than we were yesterday. But getting back to the basics, what is our goal? How do we get there? And more importantly, why are we going in that direction? And I think as leaders, if we can communicate with our staff and communicate with each other the why, the how kind of comes into place. So as it relates to October, we obviously want to start off the fourth quarter on an incredibly high note. There's 27 working days in the month this month. So we want to maximize on having those working days. This is the last month of the year before there's significant time off as it relates to holidays. And we want our staff to enjoy their holidays with their family. So I'm really excited about this month and the tone it's going to set for wrapping up a very successful 2019.
Perfect. All right. Now, specifically for you, David, I know we talked about this last month when I was out in Memphis about what specifically drives you. If you wouldn't mind just kind of re-hitting that for us, to be a top producer, what are some of the things that that drive you on a daily basis to keep going, especially after, let's say, a hard month or a slow month where you didn't hit your objectives? How do you, keep pushing and kind of get reinvigorated to go back out there?
Well, I think from a business perspective, how does one really judge success? Do you judge success when things are handed to you and everything comes easy? Or you judge success knowing that you really had to work really hard to achieve something, and you had to overcome a lot of objections, a lot of obstacles? For me, what drives me is the ability to serve and the ability to try to beat the last month, the last day, the last person. I think the older that I get, the more I kind of become a little bit more patient, but I'm an incredibly competitive person. I don't like to lose at cards. In a lot of cases, I don't want to just win. I want to win big. But at the same time, you have to take a step back and look into what's perspective. And in a lot of cases, failure is the best teacher. And I think we learn from our mistakes and we learn from where we fall short. And in analyzing our mistakes, I think that it allows us to be better individuals. It allows us to be better producers. And it also allows us to really learn on how we can be most effective. And I think in doing that, the drive is the ability to serve the customer, but also at the same time to beat any of your previous numbers, and not really compete. I mean, you can compete with your peers and compete with your competitors, and competition is great. But at the end of the day, I'm more focused on what I can do and what I can control than I am about things that I can't. I can control my attitude. I can control my activity. I can control how I deal with adversity. In a lot of cases, you can't control whether a deal closes or not. You can do everything you can to control that to an extent, but attitude and activity are the two biggest drivers that everyone can control.
Perfect. Perfect. That's one of the things that really attracted me to coming aboard here with American Car Center was that the focus that you put on, as well as Ed and some of the other the other leadership here put on, just developing people. I'm saying that a lot of times in the automotive industry, it's really just a trial by fire, and if you don't succeed, they just kick you out. But here, y'all really focused on developing the people that are underneath. I think the vast majority of our managers currently are, and even regional managers, started as salesmen and worked their way up. How has that focus on training and development led to the success of American Car Center?
Well, Deric, as you recall, when we met in the fall of 2017 at the Starbucks in Gulfport, where we were talking about opportunities, the focus is on not necessarily hiring a seat or filling a seat. It's about hiring the best people, recruiting the best people. And once we have them, what are their skill sets that we can continue to develop, but also what do they bring to the table that we may not have? And how can we utilize those individuals? So I think as it relates to American Car Center and what we're trying to do on a global scale across the country is really create an atmosphere where individuals can thrive, who want to thrive and who can continue to move up with the company. I think 23 of our existing managers started in some other form of the company. We have a couple of managers that weren't even in the sales department when they originally joined the company. So again, we want to identify the talent early and allow them to bloom. And in a lot of cases, in doing so, we're planting the seed, we're watering it, we're cultivating it, we're making sure that it's fertilized, and then we're going to take a step back and let the plant and let the person do the rest. I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the last few years because it's not been easy. In a lot of cases, it's been pretty difficult. But the staff that we have and the people that we're investing in internally, that we are really pushing to do something outside of a lot of people's comfort zones, and they're responding in a very positive manner. And I think that is something that I'm most proud of. Aside from the results and the success that we have, it's the response from our people and the day in and day out grind that they put in and the effort that they put in. And the text messages that sometimes I get at 9 o'clock at night where they've stayed late to serve a customer. Those are the little things of how we're really judging success internally at American Car Center. And I think that separates us is that if you're not busy, you go home. If you're busy, you stay till you think you're done. And the 5-day work week, the work-life balance, the ability to have paid time off. In our industry, it's becoming more relevant because we want longevity in our sales force. We want longevity in our staff, and I want them to be fresh. And to be fresh, you have to have time off. You have to kind of decompress, and but you also have to know that the people that you work with and that you work for are fully vested in not just your personal success, but your professional development and future development.
Absolutely. So there was an acronym that you focused heavily on last time. I think it was we were discussing what you're looking for as well. Some of the senior leadership is looking for in regards to promoting people. I think the acronym was CADET. If you could briefly review that acronym with us, what it means, and how someone can step up and show themselves to be ready for promotion.
Well, I got that acronym from Dave Anderson. Dave Anderson is a motivational speaker. He's an author. I've had the pleasure of meeting him on a few occasions and attending some of his seminars. And he's the one that kind of put the acronym CADET in my mind. And it stands for character, attitude, drive, energy, and talent. And those are all attributes and characteristics of individuals that you can't quantify on a resume. You can't really look at it and see it. And you have to talk to the individual. You have to be able to recognize those particular attributes. And if you can find those 5 things, the teaching of the business and the semantics are easy. But those particular character, drive, energy, talent, you can't replace those. In a lot of cases, you can't teach them. You can't teach someone to have a good attitude. They either have it or they don't. Someone is going to push themselves. You can encourage them. Absolutely. You can coach them, But if they don't have that internal drive that really makes and separates them from someone else, all the coaching in the world goes to the wayside. So I can't emphasize enough on how important those attributes and characteristics are in any business in any shape or form. It doesn't matter if you're in customer service, if you're in sales, if you're an engineer. Those 5 attributes will make you successful. And if you can identify those in recruiting and identify those in candidates, then you jump on it and you teach them the rest.
So last but certainly not least, we want to finish up on what's American Car Center got planned for the future? What are your thoughts on as we step into this final quarter of the year?
Well, right now I'm focused on today. So I want to have the best Thursday we possibly can have. As it relates to the company, we're still in a very high growth mode. We've got several stores. We're trying to get 7 additional stores open this quarter by the end of the year. That brings us up to 65 locations. We actually are working on an additional reconditioning facility in South Carolina right now. And so that brings us up to 5 recon centers to handle our buying and logistic needs at the stores. So we got a lot of neat things going on as it relates to American Car Center as a whole and the company and which direction we're going. It has been a fantastic year. It's been a challenging year in some of our markets, and we've met those challenges head on. And I think that we're better off for some of those challenges. But really, we've had the ability and the continued blessings to be able to grow at the rate that we have, and it's all because, again, our people, our cadets. The leaders that we have on the front lines that are out there day in and day out, every single salesperson that shows up to the stores ready to work, ready to put in their time and earn their commission and earn that sale. So the success that we have has not only been exciting to watch from afar and see people development, but it is 100% attributed to our staff and the customers with who we serve.
Absolutely. Last but certainly not least, want to do a big call out for for folks who are interested in joining the American Car Center team. What message do you have to our potential prospects out there?
Well, our message is simple. If you want to work hard and you want to have unlimited income potential, then we absolutely want to talk to you. If you feel that you have a servant heart and that you want to get into the sales side and you're interested, get in contact with one of our stores. We have 58 locations across the Southeast right now. Pretty much, I guarantee you, we have a location near where you live. So reach out to me personally. You can reach out to Deric. Contact us on AmericanCarCenter.com. We would love to talk to anybody that wants to get into this business and join a company that's going somewhere. It doesn't matter if you have car sales experience or not. We don't care. If you have the 5 attributes, character, attitude, drive, energy, and talent, we absolutely want to speak to you. The recruiting piece is ongoing for us. So it doesn't matter if we have a position available now or positions that we're going to have available. We do not know where the future is going to hold for us from a staffing perspective. The only thing I can tell you is that we're incredibly sound. We're incredibly well positioned, and we are looking forward to going into our 20th anniversary as a company in 2020 on a very high note.
So I'm looking for some questions in the comments here. If you have any questions out there, feel free to comment them now. Wesley Nelson says, I really enjoy these interviews with you, David Norton. It's motivating to have that connection with the company leader. I hear one from Ed Brewer. He said him at 7 a.m. definitely keeps him motivated. So I'm going to keep it open for just a couple of minutes before we sign off here. Any final thoughts, David, at all?
No, I think what we're trying to do on this, Deric, is that we're trying to open up the lines of communication with 300 sales staff, approaching 65 locations. I want everyone to understand where we're coming from an executive leadership team, from a company standpoint, big picture. And I want them to know that their voice can be heard. We have an open door policy. if anyone has questions, we absolutely want to answer them. If you're in a different industry and you're looking to make a change, or you have questions, I'd love to be able to help people out. I have contacts throughout multiple industries who have been invaluable. And I can't even explain the value that they've added in my career of just having a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. So the purpose of these coffee talks, or whatever cool, cute name we come up with down the road, is really just to open the lines of communication. And this is who we are. This is what we're doing. If you want to be involved in something unique, join our team. And we would love to talk to any individual that thinks that they might add value, or that we can add value to them.
Great. So I left the links to for the application in the description, as well as those 2 books that David mentioned earlier, David and Goliath, as well as Leadership Excellence, in the description. If you guys want to check that out, those are on Amazon. Don't see any questions at the moment, but if I do see them going forward, I'll either tag David or he'll respond to them, of course, accordingly. But thank you so much for your time, sir. It's an absolute pleasure. I really think it does help all of us, throughout the company, just to get a better understanding of where you're going, what your thoughts are on what we're doing on a daily basis. It really helps keep us motivated and just do our part in the mission to get more units delivered. One question just popped up was by Ed Brewer. He asked, can you discuss how great your senior vice president of sales is?
Yeah, I'm not going to discuss that. He knows how great he is. Tell him that he must have missed the part where I was talking about being humble and having humility. No, I'll brag on Edward Brewer, our senior vice president, for just a second. I think that, again, like I said, our success is because of our people. And I think that we have been fortunate enough to have some strong leadership on the front lines, and Ed's been a very big part of that. I wouldn't be able to do my job on a day-to-day basis without he and his team. And so to Ed and all of our regional management staff, I think we're incredibly indebted to the work that they do day in and day out. They put up with me, and I am demanding. I am a pusher. I do not set easily targeted goals. We have lofty goals and aspirations for us as an organization. They respond in an incredibly positive manner. They don't always agree with me, which is perfect, because I don't want yes men. We want some actual real conversation and discussion. And we're very fortunate to have Ed and his team, and all of our staff, from our lot attendants that help us continue to have our cars on the ground with emissions processes, all the way through our finance clerks that are really the front line from a customer service perspective at our dealerships, to our new salespeople. We're thankful that you're part of us. Please buy into this. Please listen wholeheartedly with your heart, not just your mind. We have some great things going on with our newer staff, and we're excited to have them on board, and thankful for the longevity of our existing veteran staff.
So I see a couple other questions, but I know we've gone on for a fairly decent amount of time. I'll address those myself in just a bit. Some questions about social media and some things that I can help with. But thank you so much, sir. If there's any last minute comments before we sign off.
Yeah, just on a side note, I don't know if this is just for our employees, if we're actually live on Facebook, but
we are.
My high school, Bradley Central High School in Cleveland, Tennessee, is playing their rival high school, Cleveland High School, this Friday night in our annual rival bash. And I want to give a shout out to Coach Damon Floyd and the Bradley Central High School Bears. I hope they have a very big victory on Friday night. And one of my best friends happens to be the athletic director at Cleveland High School now. And so I would love to be able to call him Saturday morning and rub it in just a little bit. And on one final note, today is October 3rd. It is my baby brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Dan. He's 39 years old. It's the last one in your 30s, so enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to start doing this on a monthly basis. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if I can do anything for you. Thank you for those of you that are watching that are American Car Center employees. Let's go out and have the best possible day we can, serve our customers, and enjoy the weekend. Thanks, guys.
All right. Y'all have a great day.